In the streets of Harlem, there existed an individual who possessed the power to lead change, topple empires, and even create them. That kind of power is extraordinary, and one notorious kingpin, Alpo Martinez, had it all. He was the real-world Scarface, but the power he wielded turned into something sinister. It became an entity that thrived on gruesomeness, striking without bias, whether it was a business partner or a brother, and ultimately led to his downfall. Alberto Alpo Martinez, who rose to infamy as the Kingpin, dubbed the Mayor of Harlem, embarked on his path to conquest from birth. On June 8, 1966, from the start he faced two significant disadvantages: the absence of a father in his life and the harsh environment in which he was born. The 1980s witnessed the advent of the dope epidemic, adding to the already rampant influx of drugs in urban communities. This resulted in impoverished neighborhoods with scarce opportunities and support, where many turned to crime to thrive financially. This lifestyle brought with it bloodshed, death, and the constant threat of losing one's freedom to the law. Three fates Alpo would eventually encounter. His mother did her best to prevent this bleak future, fully aware of the vices in their environment. She tried to keep him on a straight path, enrolling him in a Roman Catholic school, then an automotive high school, and finally Julia Richmond High School. However, Alpo seemed irresistibly drawn to the underworld. With his mother struggling to make ends meet, he yearned for more than a life of hardship in the projects. The change began when Alpo and some childhood friends started engaging in petty crimes to earn cash. As time went on, his fascination with that lifestyle grew. He coveted the clothes, flashy cars, and the status of the dope dealers whose names echoed among young men with no other aspirations. By the age of 13, Alpo was already hustling on street corners for dope dealers. Predictably, he soon found himself in trouble with law enforcement, experiencing his first arrest, but it didn't take long for him to return to his old ways. If you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Alpo, being business-minded, knew exactly who he needed to befriend to elevate his life: a teenager named Faison. Faison had built a reputation in the streets as a young success story in the coke business. Despite his age, he drove the newest model vehicles and lived more lavishly than adults 3 times his age. Alpo craved that lifestyle and approached Faison for work. His persistence eventually convinced Faison to give him a chance. Alpo began selling small bottles of powdered coke, impressing Faison with his progress. However, Faison is unaware that Alpo is a cunning young man who knows how to fake the results he wants. At times, when the product didn't sell out, Alpo would use saved money to give Faison his percentage, making it appear as though all the dope had sold. Faison, convinced by the illusion, eventually promoted Alpo. Eager to further his rise in the underworld, Alpo initiated a conversation with Faison to become a member of his crew, not just a buyer. Around this time, someone attempted to shoot Faison. Seeing this as the perfect opportunity to build trust, Alpo retrieved 2 firearms and joined Faison on a hunt to hit the perpetrator. Alpo proved himself as a soldier ready to shed blood for Faison, who took notice. From then on, Alpo became part of Faison's crew, handling the dirty work. His already ruthless reputation grew, and his name became one to fear. Business was business for Alpo. There was no room for mercy or leniency. This ruthless attitude helped spread his influence through the underworld. His presence became even more significant when Faison introduced him to the next big dealer in the city, Rich Porter. Together, they formed a formidable duo, taking over the streets of Harlem. Young, rich, and powerful, they moved coke through the city, establishing themselves as kingpins with no limits to the gruesomeness they employed to stay on top. Money flowed in the hundreds of thousands per month. Alpo, who had dreamt of this status, now basked in it. His flair and style set fashion trends. His jewelry and extravagant attire commanded attention, and anyone bold enough to interfere with his money met a fatal end. However, in that line of business, there's always someone who wants what you have, always someone who thinks they're just as ruthless or even more. And so the inevitable clash began. Alpo's empire started to crumble when the first of the Kingpin trio was targeted and killed. In August 1987, Faison left a basketball game to re-up on his dope product, which he had stashed at his aunt's house. In an exclusive Vlad TV interview, he recalled the haunting scenario. Joined by a female companion and a male affiliate, Faison went to his aunt's house, but upon exiting the elevator, they were accosted by armed robbers who pushed them into the apartment. The burglary ended with 6 people shot and left dead. Faison was wounded 9 times. 2 bullets to the head, 1 to the neck, 1 to the shoulder, 1 to the hand, and 4 to the leg. Miraculously, Faison survived the attack, but sadly, 3 people, including his aunt, did not. Discovering it was his sister's boyfriend who orchestrated the burglary, Faison realized their lifestyle only had one end. He tried to warn Alpo and Rich Porter, but they were blinded by money and power. Perhaps if Alpo had heeded his friend's warning, things might have gone differently. The money continued to pile up, but it also began to fracture the relationship between Alpo and Rich. Alpo discovered that Rich was overcharging him for the product, violating their agreement. To Alpo, this was the height of disrespect, a blatant attempt to rob him. Around the same time, on December 5, 1989, Rich Porter's 12-year-old brother, Donald Porter, was kidnapped. The kidnapper sent a severed finger from Donald and a tape of him pleading for his life, demanding a ransom of $500,000. The ransom was never paid, and Donald was lost. It wasn't due to a lack of trying, but Rich was killed before he could rescue his brother. In a shocking twist, Alpo Martinez, Rich Porter's close friend, was behind his assassination. In a later documentary, Alpo recalled flying to New York and picking up Rich on January 3, 1990. After confirming Rich was lying about his coke supplier, Alpo signaled an affiliate in the car to shoot Rich. As it turned out, Rich didn't die from the initial 2 shots, prompting Alpo to finish the job before dumping the body in the woods. Approximately 3 weeks later, Alpo was shot in the back during an attempted kidnapping in the D.C. area. He was airlifted to the hospital in critical condition and underwent surgery to save his life. Alpo survived, and given another chance at life, he didn't turn away from the lifestyle. Instead, he partnered with ruthless enforcer Wayne Perry to eliminate anyone in his path. Alpo's power grew to an unstoppable level, but it was this very power that led to his downfall. In November 1991, Alpo was arrested for drug distribution and a string of murders. To avoid capital punishment, he turned informant, betraying his associates. With his cooperation, Alpo was sentenced to 35 years, spending 25 of those behind bars. He was released on parole in 2015 and placed under witness protection with a new identity in Lewiston, Maine, under the alias Abraham Rodriguez. Despite a chance at a new life away from revenge seekers, Alpo couldn't let go of his title as the mayor of Harlem. Drunk on attention, he returned to Harlem in extravagant fashion. Alpo was outside, living life as if the past couldn't catch up to him. On the night of Halloween, October 31st, 2021, Alpo attended a party, unaware his time was running out. Around 3:00 a.m., Alpo left the party on West 147th Street and Frederick Douglass Boulevard and entered his red Dodge Ram. At approximately 3:20 a.m., an assailant opened fire, hitting Alpo 5 times in the chest, chin, and arm. In an attempt to escape, Alpo stomped on the gas, causing his vehicle to take off. He managed to drive about 4 blocks before losing consciousness and crashing into a parked car. Around 3:30 a.m., police arrived on the scene to find Alpo in his vehicle. Paramedics and law enforcement initially did not recognize him, as his ID was under his witness protection alias, Abraham Rodriguez. Alpo was rushed to Harlem Hospital Center, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Alpo Martinez's life ended tragically, with family and friends of Rich Porter celebrating the news. Speculation about the motive for the hit included revenge for breaking the underworld code by becoming an informant, and a drug trade gone bad, as police discovered a trail of coke packets thrown from Alpo's vehicle. In February 2022, reports surfaced that 27-year-old Shaquem Parker was arrested for Alpo's murder. According to law enforcement, Alpo had clashed with Parker over the summer when Alpo, riding his motorcycle, brushed past Parker in a way that showed disrespect, prompting Parker to seek revenge. Parker is charged with Alpo's murder and criminal possession of a weapon. As of April 11, 2024, the trial has been postponed until at least May 13. Alpo Martinez had it all, but the problem with having it all is that you begin to feel invincible. Consumed by power, he turned into a monster obsessed with business, attention, and money. In the end, it stole decades of his life behind bars and ultimately led to his premature death. His name is forever etched in the history of dope kingpins. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment for more videos.